But thank you so much for being here. I hope we're all in the right place. Are you at Relax and Renew right now? Good, good. I was hoping that we were coming for the same reason here. And I just wanted to thank you for taking some of your time, your lunchtime. You're free to come and go as you please, mostly because we just want this to be accessible to anyone and everyone who has an interest. So my name's Natalie Tausen. I work with Health Promotion, and I have to tell you, I have absolutely been thrilled working with this team that put on, or is putting on this workshop. Elena is coming from CFS, so she's doing a part of it. We have Carrie, who I didn't know before this, so it's been really cool getting to know you. Annie is, and that Carrie's from DPR, and so is Kayla. And they'll introduce themselves with their last names, and then Annie from Health Promotion. And we're really just a group of people who believe in this and just wanted to be able to do this for you all. And the reason that we're having this workshop is, I'm sure some of you may have filled out the climate survey for our customer part of health, human resources. We did a survey on, our work environment, work-life balance, and things like that. And we all are professionals. We have hectic lives. We have a lot of demands on our time, and we feel the stress of it all. And stress reduction and work-life balance, and just trying to figure out how to use the time that we have at work when we have a little break to re-energize and sort of renew and get ready. And the bottom line is, hashtag, you deserve this. We all deserve this. It's part of what helps us be better people towards each other, and then towards the people we love most, our family members, so that when we go home, we can actually have wonderful interactions. So with not much more to say on my end, I'm going to turn it over to Elena, and she will talk about what she's going to do.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Elena Mira, and I work at CFS, so I'm actually generally off-site, but I was here in DPR for a couple years prior, where I really worked with the health and fitness areas here in on my own terms. So when I first started here at SRHD, I did not feel good. I just came out of grad school, and I was a hot mess. And every day was a challenge to stay positive. And so when I started here, I loved all the different resources and challenges that we did, the Smart Health, and particularly, I got started at the 85210 challenge about 2 years ago, and our group really focused on getting exercise at work, and some of the things that we did really stuck with me, and so we were always going for walks during our challenge, and the group that I worked with continued after that. And so I've had a lot of success using the tools here, and so I'm just here to kind of share some of my tips and go over some stretching that I use in my cube. So one of the first tips that I always tell people is to be prepared. So I always keep a pair of shoes in my desk area, or even a spare workout outfit, and that way if I actually kind of feel an ounce of energy, I just go with it. So I never have to, that's not a barrier for me. And that's worked really well. I also keep a bouncy ball in my cube, which you can rent from the Health and Wellness Committee. And at one point I had bicycle wheels that can fit under your desk. And I just tried to be really creative. And another thing is I was always bugging my friends to go with me. And those walks were really good just to clear our heads, get to know people, catch up, and kind of take yourself out of the crazy world that we dig ourselves into at work. And then one of the main things was I worked out in the pit when it first came out, and that's the gym we have at the bottom of the rotunda. And when I was doing the 85210 challenge, I started doing the workouts downstairs with the trainer, and I highly recommend that to anyone. It's so much fun, and I never thought that working out my lunch would be something that I would be interested in, but as I got into the routine, it was fantastic. So I would also start doing 15-minute workouts on my 15-minute breaks. And I count 5 minutes for getting down the stairs and coming back up, my travel time. And then I would do 10 minutes on either the treadmill or there's a rowing machine. There's also yoga mats down there. So if I didn't want to get sweaty before a presentation or something, I could go down there and stretch on the ball or stretch on the foam rollers. And so I have a handout here for everyone. And on the back is a list of different ideas that you can do downstairs. I left them pretty vague because everyone has their own goals and things that they enjoy. But one of my other tips is going down to the pit can be pretty overwhelming. And so just go down, take an inventory of what's there, come back up, and research ideas. Like if you don't know what to do with a foam roller, grab a couple ideas and bring them down there with you. And it's so much more comfortable when you know what you're going for. So even if you're unable to dedicate that 15 minutes for your 15-minute break, you can always get physical activity in your actual sitting space with stretching. And so on the flyer handed out is also a couple different ideas for stretching, and you can feel free to keep that, put it in your workspace, and it's right there for you to so you have no excuses. And so today we're gonna just do some neck stretches because with us sitting at our desks all the time, it can be really carry a lot of tension in our neck and our shoulders. And so if you want to just get in a comfortable position, we're not going to be putting our arms out or anything, so you don't have to worry about hitting your neighbor. But so I like to just sit back in the chair, maybe put my hands on my legs, and start by just taking a deep breath in and out. And then we're going to start by just bringing our shoulders up and squeezing them next to our neck. So you'd be like, squeeze, 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 and release. And then just kind of shake it out. Just kind of feel that tension kind of going away. And we're going to do that 2 more times because if you do it more than once, you really get to feel the difference. So go up and squeeze and release. And squeeze and release. And then also, now we're going to do some neck rotations. Definitely be careful with your neck and don't push it beyond where you think you should be going because this is supposed to be nice and relaxing. So I start by just putting my head forward and then just kind of rocking in the front, kind of feeling the muscles in the back of your neck stretch, and you kind of find out that there's more than one back there. And then I'll put my head back. If it doesn't feel comfortable to roll it in the back, you don't have to. Just feeling the stretch in the front of your neck. And you can even take your jaw and try and push it towards the ceiling, and that really stretches out the front. And then bringing your head back up to the middle, taking it to the right. And that's where I'm always like, oh yeah, I've been neglecting myself. And then bring it to the other side. And then just end with 1 deep breath. In and out. And just notice, I like to take notice of how I feel afterwards, so then the next time I'm stressed and not feeling well, I can remember that even though I didn't want to do it last time, it worked this time. Mm-hmm. And so on the back of your flyer, I also have a quick Fitbit challenge. So if you, and so it's just asking you to kind of note your feelings, doing one of those 10 or 15-minute workouts, and then coming back and reassessing how you feel so that you can log down those benefits, and it's easier to tap into when you're not in the place that you like to be at. So that is all I have to share. Does anyone have any questions or anything? Thank you.
All right, is it okay if I move this? I'm moving it now. So, my name's Carrie, as they mentioned, and I am with the Immunization Outreach Group with Disease Prevention and Response. So, they've asked me to talk a little bit about walking, which is why I'm dressed the way I am. Normally, I don't dress quite this casual with my tennies and everything. So, oh, thank you. So as human beings, we were made to move. And of course, back in the day, we didn't have all the transportation that we have now. We didn't have the ability to hop on a bike or hop in a car, and people obviously had to walk everywhere. Well, nowadays, as you know, we basically are very sedentary. Our lives oftentimes include the fact that we are sitting in a car, driving to work. For those of you who get to commute another way, that's fabulous. I know we have some bikers and whatnot. So we sit in our car, we go to work, we come and we sit at our desk potentially for 8 to 10 hours. I am very thankful that the Regional Health District does allow us to have, like I have a very desk, so I can stand up at my desk for a while, but I'm still standing there, right? So we all know that long periods of inactivity lead to a decrease not only in our health physically, but our health emotionally, and they can increase our stress, our feelings of stress. And so, so what can we do to try to minimize the amount of just standing still that we are sitting still? Does walking really matter? And sometimes we think about it in huge chunks of time. That, ooh, if I can't walk for an hour today, then none of it matters. But it does. So if I go and take a brisk walk, I'm going to not only increase my productivity, but I can also increase my creativity, because now I've got all that blood flowing, I've got my different endorphins and everything all jazzed up. The other thing that I found interesting was if a 15-minute walk can curb your chocolate cravings. Now, I may start taking a walk eating chocolate, but ultimately that craving will be curbed. It can help to build stronger relationships at work and with friends, family. So oftentimes here at work, I'll tap one of my coworkers, say, hey, I'm gonna go take a little walk. Do you want to come with? And we are really fortunate because we have a lot of opportunity here. The good news is that everything you do in your day counts. So if you don't have an hour of time to dedicate to walking, think about it in smaller pieces. So I typically have 2 reminders set for myself every day. One in the morning, one in the afternoon, for just to take a walk during my break. So I usually don't get both in, sadly, but I may get one in the morning, and the next day I may get the afternoon in. But I have to set it as a reminder to myself. Otherwise, the time goes really quickly, and before you know it, most of my day's gone. The other piece of that is that we have some really awesome opportunities around here for walking. So obviously we could walk the hallways. We can go up and down the stairs. Sometimes when the weather's really bad, I'll go down to the very bottom where the pit is. I have not yet gone to the pit, but I'll walk around it, right? We make so many laps. I set my timer on my phone and just make some laps. And of course you want to make it count, so I really want to make sure that my steps are purposeful in my walking, just as I would if I'm out and about. We also are very close in proximity to Kendall Yard, which is great, the Centennial Trail, and it really doesn't take as much time as you think. You think, hey, maybe I'll go down and make the loop around Kendall Yard. It really only takes about 10 or 15 minutes at the most. So try to think about every opportunity that you can take to walk. Some of you may not really remember the 80s, I say I don't because I had 4 kids in like 6 years in the 80s, so I don't remember that much. I walk now so I can keep up with my 10 grandkids. But think about back in the day when we didn't have the opportunity to do a quick instant message to someone or an email or anything. So maybe now, instead of doing that, I'm going to go walk down or walk across the hallway and say, hey, you know, I'm just coming over to ask you this question instead of doing it via IM or email. Maybe moving things in your office so you have to get up and walk more. So I know some organizations have actually instituted email-free Fridays, which I know many of us would appreciate, if not for the factor of not having to respond to emails. How many of you sometimes feel this way at the end of the day? It usually hits me about 3 o'clock, and there's a tendency for me to think, oh, I should get up and walk, but I really need to get this stuff done. And then I sit there and stare at my computer screen for the next 20 minutes. Whereas if I would have just taken that time, done my walk, got rejuvenated, energized, I could come back and I probably would have accomplished that same task in less than half the time. So I would encourage you to reframe your thinking and turn around the statement and tell yourself, by taking this small amount of time now, I'm going to be much more productive when I get back. What other ideas have you tried to get yourself moving? How many of you consider yourself a walker? Okay. So what other tips or tricks do you do to get yourself moving? Stairs.
I set the alarm on my computer for every half hour to remind me to stand up at least.
Good idea. Yeah, set your a little reminder to at least stand up and get the blood flow doing something else. That's awesome. Kayla. Pardon? Walking meetings. Yep. So if you have something to discuss with a coworker, instead of sitting at a desk or a conference table, why don't we just go take a walk and talk about it? As long as, you know, it's not confidential and that kind of thing. So some things that are helpful for me are using an app of some sort. I use Map My Walk. I like it because it tracks my steps. It tracks my route. So if I like a particular route, I save it. It's free, too. I can take pictures during my walk, and I can look fondly back at whatever walk I took. Also, how many of you use Smart Health as part of an employee here? Very good. Yeah. I'm highly motivated by points and rewards. So I use Smart Health a lot, and you can actually connect some apps to Smart Health. So if you're doing a challenge in Smart Health, you can connect it, and then that way it'll automatically track your steps or whatever it is that you happen to be doing. How many here use a Fitbit or something like it? Okay. Yeah. So I know I have a coworker now who every once in a while I'll see her get up and she'll start making the rounds. It's like, oh, her steps went off, right? Time to get in those steps. So whatever it takes for us as a reminder. The other thing is, short of SRHD installing treadmills for us at our desks, as Kayla mentioned, we can have walk and talk meetings. Keep a pair of tennis shoes or walking shoes, as Elena mentioned. That way, if, like, say, I decide I'm going to wear a dress and be all fancy that day, and I'm like, oh, darn, I can't walk because I'm in high heels, oh, then my tennis shoes are staring at me from under the desk, and I'm not given that excuse anymore. Any other ideas for how to make sure that you're... Yes, Amy.
This is not at work, but it's at home.
'Kay.
When I'm putting away laundry,
Yeah.
sometimes if I have a few extra minutes, I won't just grab like the whole pile, but I'll grab like one item and put it in the drawer.
Oh. Good idea. So you're basically, you're normally in our busy lives, we try to make sure we're as efficient with our time as possible, right? So I'm going to hang on to everything. But if you can, think about it in terms of parsing it out. Okay, I'm going to put away this set of clothes or that set of clothes. Great idea. Thank you. Another really nice thing is that SRHD is going to be providing us with a walking challenge. Starting April 2nd through June 1st, we will have an opportunity to sign up as individuals or as a team. And there's going to be different milestones that will be set. We'll set probably for ourselves and maybe will be set for us. Whoever signs up and achieves their first milestone will get one of these t-shirts. So a little incentive there. So what I'd like you to think about is anytime you see this message here, use it as a reminder about the benefit of walking in terms of, like I say, not only stress reduction, but increase in productivity, increase in health benefit. And I hope that during this time, you've gotten at least one or two ideas about how to incorporate walking into your workday. It's a little bit easier when it's outside of work, but it's really important during our workday that we try to do that as well. And so I would challenge you too that let's hold each other accountable. And when we're walking down the hallway, to just say, hey, how's that walking going? And just kind of tap your neighbor, your coworker. So, any other comments or ideas that you want to share? Yes.
Fleet Feet.
Pardon?
Just opened in Kendall Yards a couple days ago, and they have winter and spring and summer. You don't have to run, you don't have to be a runner, but if you want to walk, they have trail activities in the spring and the fall. Right now they have Winter Warriors, and so Tuesday nights they run from Fleet Feet.
Fleet Feet.
5:45.
And is it, where's it, is it located somewhere at Kendall Yard? I'm not sure, I'm not,
It just opened right next to, it's part of Indaba, so where Indaba is now.
Okay.
Up there together.
Oh, okay.
It's right next to Mary Hill
okay,
Winery.
okay, next to Mary Hill Winery. Awesome.
I paid $25 for 12 weeks through Winter Warriors, and there's 3 runs per week,
Okay,
and you don't have to run anymore.
all right.
Question,
Yes.
how do we utilize where are the treadmill working stations at, and how do we utilize those or sign up to use those?
Oh, I was just kidding about the treadmill workstations.
thought we had some.
No, we don't. Do we? I mean, not that I know of.
One,
Oh, you do?
and, it's currently being
I was just joking about that.
treadmill
Oh,
station.
it's where?
We have one in health promotion, but it's
It's in the pit now.
it's in the
Oh.
pit. All right,
Yeah, it's not assembled.
but it's not set up as a walking workstation. A walking workstation.
Yeah.
Is there a plan to do that?
That's the plan.
Okay, that's the plan. Okay.
I don't know who's executing the plan.
Okay.
That's the plan.
All right. All right. All right, well, thank you. That is all I have for my presentation. And I hope everyone got a handout. I did provide, okay, if you didn't, just let me know. Come on up, Annie.
Why is this in crooked, Annie? Did you do this?
Yep, I'm sorry.
You're not supposed to take responsibility.
I think this will work. Yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone, and everyone tuning in. I see you. My my name's Annie Zatkowski. I'm on the active living team and the healthy communities team in health promotion, and I'm actually named after Anne Shirley. My birth name's Anne Shirley of Anne of Green Gables. So I was destined to be an avid reader. So today, what I'm going to talk to you about is this innovative, groundbreaking program for the agency called Read Well. And the idea of Read Well came out of an idea, more specifically a YouTube video called What is Literature For?, made by the School of Life. And basically, it says, why can't we prescribe books to people who are going through stress, going through, any sorts of, things that life throws at us. And so what we're embarking on is sharing with the agency Books for Health. And with that, we have a subcommittee of the Living Well Committee, so Read Well is a part of that. And we have our lovely rollout library. Sorry. Which was compiled and collated by your colleagues. We set out a survey that says, what kinds of books do you like to read? What books do you recommend? Do you like hardcover versus e-reader? Why do you read? And it's really exciting because, reading is a way that we can creatively problem solve and increase empathy and well-being with each other. So in the process of rolling out Read Well, we will be sharing our books and setting up workshops so we can connect with each other and figure out how do we talk about stories in productive ways that leads to stress reduction. A study from the UK says that 6 minutes of reading leads to clarity and peace of mind and reduced stress. So, think about that when you maybe don't have time to read. 6 minutes can go a long way. And so there's a field part of this called bibliotherapy, and the Novel Cure is an excellent resource for bibliotherapy. At the agency, it's not that we're prescribing books to each other. It's that, what stories can we share so we can connect with one another better. So say you're having a midlife crisis. And so the Novel Cure, has a little write-up like, okay, here's what you may be going through, and then it lists books that might reflect some of the things you're feeling, such as Girl 20 by Kingsley Amis, The Year of the Hare by Arto Pasolina, and The Art of Fielding by Chad Harbeck. So we're still figuring things out administratively, but in the meantime, in order for us to keep track of our books, we have installed a QR code, and we're open to recommendations on how to keep this equitable so everyone can participate. But how it works is, say you want to check out the Fellowship of the Ring. You come over here with your phone, pull up your camera, and show the QR code that's on this cart. What pops up is a link. So in that link it should direct you to a Read Well checkout page. So you put your first name, last name, the title of your book, and then whether you are checking out the book or checking the book back in. And that helps us keep track of our inventory of where books are at. So we do invite avid readers to donate books and to take part in the Read Well subcommittee to hear what we're doing and keep up to speed. So that is the mission and purpose behind Books for Health. So, yeah, thank you.
So where are the books going to be kept?
Good question. So the books will be on this rolling cart. As you can see, it's filling up pretty fast. So we'll figure something out. But we have yet to work with the departments to move the cart throughout the agency at different times. So for now, it will probably be housed in health promotion temporarily, and then we'll put out a schedule that shows where the cart is going. Yeah. Yes.
Do you screen the books that are recommended, like in your committee?
Oh, screen them? Like
somebody donates a bunch of books. Like, do they just automatically go on the cart, or do they maybe go to the lunchroom library.
Oh, the rejects. Is that what you're saying? No.
Like,
The-
if I read this, like you guys are giving your stamp of approval.
Oh, well, okay, so I forgot, this is the big show. So, we have a digital bookshelf.
Oh.
So, yes, all books will be on the cart and also on this digital bookshelf, which is public. And for those of you turning in, go to tumblr.com and type in a Read Well digital bookshelf. We'll send the link via an announcement. So this collation of books is compiled from the survey that SRHD employees took. And these are all the books that were recommended. So we're working to make sure that our inventory is up to date, so our book library is up to, our digital bookshelf is up to date, and then the cart is up to date as well. Yeah, we won't have any banned books. Yeah, we keep it pretty inclusive that way, but when we have our, we would like to have book club type setups where we talk about books to reflect what either health equity or what are some stressors employees face in the agency through their work, and like meet and talk about that through stories. We might vet different books that way, but nothing will probably be rejected. So, yeah.
So everything on the digital bookshelf are ones that you currently have, and also ones you're looking for?
Good question, Donna. So say you're interested in Quiet, The Power of Introverts. So it will have a synopsis of the book. It will have who recommended it, and then it will also have, it will also note, is it on our mobile library? Is it at the library? And we'll link to it. Spokane, it's both Spokane County and Spokane Public Library. And then we'll also have links to the audiobook and e-reader if possible. So,
Audiobooks too?
yep. Audiobooks totally do the same thing for us mentally. So,
And it can be on the treadmill.
and it can be on the treadmill or walking and listen to a story. Yeah. So, yeah. So, good.
But we're
Yeah.
not gonna have audiobooks in our library, right? Or,
So they'll be linked to the Spokane Public Library's audio database. Yeah, we're not building an audiobook database. That would be crazy. But yep. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Thank you all very much.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Oh, does it? I've just listed it here.
Yeah, thank you.
You can cut this out, right? No. I loosened it up. Okay.
All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming and spending part of your lunch hour with me. I'm Kayla DeBusk. I'm here to talk about meditation and using it as a tool and using it when you actually take a break from work. So I wanted to just say thank you as well as being willing to even try meditation. I know a lot of people don't like it, or they just feel like they aren't doing it right, or it just makes them nervous. So we'll get more on that later before we start. I wanted to start by asking, how many of you have meditated or done mindfulness practices before? Nice. And of those that raised their hand, how many of you do them regularly? Like practice? And regularly, I mean like once a week, once a month. Like it's not just one time in your life. Nice. So that's a lot more people than I thought. That's good. I, too, regularly practice meditating. I do it in formal and informal settings. And what I mean by that is I pay to go to a place that is a sacred space. It's a yoga studio, and they have a 1-hour class where you move very slowly, and you're holding poses for about 5 minutes. And during that time, you're just trying to really be in that moment at that time. And then I have informal things that I do at home based off of YouTube channels that I like to follow, and those are all hyperlinked in this document that you'll receive. So please remember to sign in and give me your email so that I don't miss you. But so there's a lot of different ones, different time frames that you can click on when you get the document. I first started meditating as a way to deal with a lot of anxiety and having depressive episodes, and then also feeling like I use it when I feel overwhelmed or when I get nervous, like right now. So that's when I try. And then now I use it more as like a proactive tool. There's studies, depending on your school of thought, where they say the more you practice it, the more it makes your brain rewire the way that you receive or react to situations. So if you're practicing it regularly, your brain will remember to go to that space or that time or that moment where you felt relaxed and okay and safe. So the more you do it, the more it'll just come naturally, and you don't need to follow a meditative voice or a YouTube channel or something. It can just be something that you do quickly in a minute. Or if you're like me, sometimes I do like to sit for an hour. And that's very, very challenging, and I like to challenge myself like that. So without further ado, I would like to walk you guys through a couple different ones. And one of them is 5 minutes. And if you've never meditated before, it'll feel a lot longer than 5 minutes. But there's some dead pauses. So it's one without music behind it. It's not my favorite, but I do like using it as to challenge yourself, right? So the ones that I have linked in the document are mainly with music behind them. So if you enjoy that, you'll probably like those more. But in order to get started, before I click this, if you guys would find a comfortable seat, or you can stand, just be comfortable. And it does say in here that you can keep your eyes open if you want, but I highly suggest closing your eyes. Just if it's not something that you regularly do, you'll get easily distracted. So let's get in a comfortable position for 5 minutes, feet on the floor. Take a big breath with me. We're gonna breathe in. And then we're going to let it out. And we're going to do it.
Start by sitting comfortably but alert on a cushion or in a chair. Close your eyes if you like, or leave them open, and lower your gaze towards the floor. Breathe as you normally would. There's nothing special to do or make happen. And then draw your attention to the physical sensation of each breath. You might notice the rising and falling of your abdomen or chest. Or you might notice the air moving in and out through your nose or mouth. With each breath, guide attention as best as you're able to your breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. Almost immediately, many times over, we'll find ourselves distracted. Our attention will always wander. That's what it does. That's normal and always going to be part of our experience, both in meditation and in life. You might find that your attention wanders towards a sound or a thought or a sensation. Without giving yourself a hard time, return your attention back to the sensation of breathing. If If something grabs your attention, a bird singing or a noise in the room, notice that happened and then let it go as best you're able. Come back to the breath without expecting anything more. For a few moments, give yourself an opportunity to settle. Sometimes our mind remains busy and caught up during meditation. Noticing that, practice patience. We cannot force our minds into stillness, and that's never the intention. Right now, in this moment, there's nothing to fix or to do. Whether you find the experience pleasant, unpleasant, or otherwise, allow everything to be for a few moments. Breathing in and breathing out. Return your attention to the breath once again. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. Pause for a moment, and then decide how you'd like to continue on with the rest of your day.
All right, everybody open their eyes. Good. Okay, so that was the long one. And how many people would like to share what they feel right now? Yeah. But do you feel sleepy? No. Just kind of zen, right? So if anybody ever wondered what zen is like, it's kind of like this. So so that was 5 minutes of our time, and that one was more so about how to just refocus. The next one is one that I use regularly without a script, without listening to somebody. It's something that I do on my own, but until I got to the ability to do it, I would listen to ones like this, where it's teaching you how to do this while a bunch of noise is going on. So in this room, it's not a good example because it's going to be quiet mostly, except for you'll kind of hear noises outside. So just try to imagine that you're at your desk and you need like 2 to 3 minutes to just get back in the moment, right? You're kind of stressing out about a speech or a presentation or something. So let's go ahead and roll into that. So again, same kind of setup.
Begin this meditation by noticing the posture that you're in. You may be standing or sitting or lying down. Notice your body exactly as it is, and see if you can tune into any sensations that are present to you in your body in this moment. There might be heaviness or lightness, pressure, weight. There might be vibration, pulsating, movement, warmth, coolness. These sensations can be anywhere in your body, and all you have to do is notice them. Notice what's happening with curiosity and interest. Take a breath. As you breathe, relax. Not much to do except to be fully present and aware. Now let go of the body's sensations and turn your attention to the sounds inside or outside the room. There may be all sorts of sounds happening, loud sounds, quiet sounds. You can also notice the silence between the sounds. But the sounds are coming and going. Notice them coming and going. One tendency of our mind is to want to think about the sounds, to start to make up a story about the sound, or we have a reaction to it. I like it, I don't like it. See if instead you can simply listen to the sound. Notice it with curiosity and interest. The sounds are coming and going. Now once again, notice your body standing, present, or seated, or lying down. Notice any body sensations that are obvious to you. Take another breath, soften, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
So that one we can use anywhere. In the grocery store, you can have it in your headphones if you want, which kind of cancels out the noise piece, but you're very distracted, right? So mainly what meditation is trying to get at, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just trying to pull you out of your headspace and make you aware of where you are right now, at that moment, at that time. Does anybody have questions? Yes?
So I've heard that you have to spend a bunch of money and a bunch of time to like get it right or something like that. But obviously you haven't had any formal training, right? You've just
No,
done this.
no. I started with YouTube and John Kabat-Zinn. And then when I had money, I went to a yoga studio, and that's where I do my, it's really quiet, and they call it a sacred space, which I really enjoy. There's no talking, and the lights are low, and so that's kind of a nice perk of paying that fee every month. But no, I used to create spaces in my house and listen to YouTube videos and just do it that way. And the document that has all the hyperlinks that you'll get after this, there's ones where there's a morning wake up where you do morning affirmations. There's ones for nighttime. Like how I say I like to meditate for an hour or so. There's ones called Yoga Nidra. That's like a practice of going into a deep sleep. And so that one is really interesting, and I enjoyed that. I like to do the body scans. Has anybody done a body scan before? So it's really nice. That one really helps you get in where you're at, and it's notice your feet sitting on the floor. Notice what it feels like with the chair beneath your legs, and then it just really gets into noticing where you are right now, and then it gives you all these cool things to do with your thoughts that keep coming up. So you notice them, put them in a cloud. It goes away. It's not going away forever, but it's just not in your head, right? So, you can get as frou-frou as you want or as serious as you want, and that's kind of what I tried to do with all the links. So hopefully you find one that you enjoy. There's 10-minute ones and 20-minute ones and 1-hour ones.